Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday to everyone. And we are getting closer to Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Absolutely. I've got my kids already ready to go.
Very close.
And we had our in-person meeting last week, so we'll talk about that too. This is Greg over there, our co-host, and we have Max today in our hot seat. And Max was so sweet; he brought me these beautiful flowers. Aren't they gorgeous?
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So we're going to find out all about what Max does, and we're going to talk to him a lot about his business. So put your questions and comments into the comment section, and I will read them, or Greg will see them too, and we will call on you if you have anything else you want to ask. Please do. We will be also on the rerun. You can do the same thing. You can ask the questions, and Max is tagged so he can answer for you. Yep. So, Max, tell us what you do, and you've got this like very professional.
Absolutely.
You look like a pro.
I've got to represent the brand. Always be branded.
He's got this like professional thing going on.
You've never had a book before, so tell us what's in it.
All right. I mean,
so tell us what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. Greg, appreciate it. What am I doing? So I'm with Transworld Business Advisors.
Okay.
We are the largest business brokerage in the world.
Okay.
Last year we sold over $1 billion worth of businesses. Wow. In a nutshell, basically, we are what real estate agents do for residential and commercial properties. We do on
and mergers.
Yeah, we do on the business side.
Okay.
So I'm basically helping to sell businesses. So just to kind of put things in context, to kind of set the stage. You know, in life, there's two certainties. You've got death and taxes. In business, there's also two certainties. There's a start and then there's an end.
Okay.
So the start, that can mean a lot of different things for different people. Like you start a business. You could bootstrap it, start it on your own, you're funding all of it. It takes a lot of sweat equity to build that brand. Or another option, you could go buy a franchise, which is very popular. You buy into a brand, let's say Chick-fil-A. You go to Chick-fil-A and say, hey, I really love your brand. I want to open up a Chick-fil-A. And if you meet all their requirements, which for Chick-fil-A are very high and stringent, then you can start operating a Chick-fil-A. And they basically give you a business in a box. And you can operate from there.
Franchise.
Exactly. And then the third option is you can go acquire a business, which is actually what I did in 2018. I went on Google and I looked up Los Angeles businesses for sale. I looked at many, many different types of businesses. I probably evaluated over 80-some businesses, from an oil change station to a flower shop, a bounce house manufacturer, which is very fun. And what I settled on was an in-home senior care agency. So I did that for 6 years, and I know I'm deviating a little bit, but that was kind of the start of a business.
Okay.
Then the other certainty in a business is that there will be an end of some sort. Again, may mean different things for different people. An end could mean that you want to pass this business down to your kids. Your kids are going to take over your legacy and continue to build a brand that you've been building with the foundation that you've created. Okay. Other option is, hey, I'm just done. I'm done with the business. Exactly. I want nothing to do with this business anymore. I'm going to shut the doors. I'm going to tell my landlord I'm not paying rent anymore, and I'm not paying my business taxes anymore. And so you shut the business down and you go away. It's not that simple, but in very basic terms, you just stop operating. The third option, which obviously I promote a lot of, is being able to sell your business. So a lot of people, they don't realize the value that they've built over the many years that they've been operating this business. I mean, a lot of people who've started from the ground up or have acquired this business from somebody else in years past have now built something with brand equity, with goodwill. They're a well-known name in the community, and so there's definitely value of that business to somebody else. And so going back to what it is that I do, is I primarily work with people, business owners, on the sell side. So business owners that are looking to exit from their business, and they can exit for a variety of reasons. Again, they want to retire. They've been doing this for a long time. They're of that age where they don't want to work anymore. They want to enjoy the rest of their life without this business. I do see a lot of people who are just burnt out. Yeah. They've been doing this for 5, 10, however many years. And life circumstance changed where they're just tired of doing this. And they're like, I want to do something else. Perhaps they want to go back to a field that they're familiar with, like it being corporate America. Perhaps they want to go buy another business, or perhaps they want to go do a yoga retreat, whatever it may be. Or very often we also find out that spouses are telling the other spouse that, look, you need to get rid of this business. So that's also very, very common. So we work primarily, again, on the sell side, helping people understand the value of their business, helping them through that entire process of marketing that business, finding a new buyer for that business, doing all the due diligence, getting all of the bank valuations, working with lawyers, accountants, landlords, going through that entire process, which can be lengthy. It takes about, on average, about 6 to 8 months to sell a business. We take them through that entire process, and the eventual goal is for them to get a liquidity event where they're able to sell their business. They hopefully get a nice return on their investments, and then they're able to transition to the next stages of their life. And back to the second stage is I've been doing this for about a year and a half. I'd say I've been building up to this point my entire life. I started my career in the finance accounting space at big Fortune 500 companies, doing finance accounting, your financial P&L management, your forecasting. So numbers are definitely my strong suit. So that's where I kind of started the foundation of my career, is getting that accounting base. And then I built...
So is Transworld your own company?
No, Transworld is a very large business brokerage, and I'm part of that, yes. So they're in about 20-some countries. There's about 1,000 brokers across the globe. And they're also a franchise, just in full disclosure, but a great brand. And so after I built my finance foundation, I kind of bolted on entrepreneurship with the home care agency that I owned. And then after exiting that, I decided, you know what, I want to bottle up that experience of working with entrepreneurs and business owners and helping them, which led me into being a business broker and really helping other people understand what the value that they have in selling their business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How easy or difficult is it to sell a business in this economy?
It really depends upon the type of business. I mean, especially the space. Restaurants, as you know, are very, very challenging. They work on very slim margins, and they're very difficult to possibly sell. But definitely, in order to sell things correctly, you want to make sure you have a business broker who understands this business and can position it in the best light. What I mean by that is understanding the different type of business in the industry. And I've worked across many different businesses in my business brokerage experience so far. I've got actually a restaurant in Long Beach here in California. I've got a leading fitness franchise in Hawaii, which is going to be very exciting. Also working with a pickleball, independent pickleball club in Virginia. So all of these, it's really to understand what is this industry. Now, how easy it is to sell. Really, the golden goose here is if it's profitable business. If it's a profitable business, okay.
Yeah, it's much easier to sell than...
Then it's not easy by any means, but it's easier because, of course, any buyer, investor, strategic buyer, they want to see, okay, this business has legs, it has a foundation, and they're going to continue building upon that. A business that's not profitable, it's much more challenging. Not to say that it's not possible. There could be a good reason why it's not profitable. For example, the business owner is really investing into this business. They're building a brand. They want to create a foundation. In those types of environments, especially startups, as you go into a more of a high-tech SaaS environment where there's a lot of startup costs that go into this business, it explains why this business is not profitable. But perhaps a new technology was developed after spending a large chunk of change, and that could be attractive to a new buyer. Because a new buyer would say, like, okay, you've proven, here's a technology that otherwise I would have had to spend myself. So I'm kind of getting a leg up for you being able to develop that for me.
It's more viable.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
For those of you who just joined, I'm going to interrupt every once in a while to tell you what we're talking about, just in case new people join. So we're talking to Max, and he is working with Transworld Business Advisors.
Yeah.
And basically, he's telling us about mergers and acquisitions, in summarizing, and how to sell a business and what you do with a business that you started. If you have questions, please put them into the comments and we will look at them and answer. When you see me looking down at my phone, I'm really looking at the questions.
Yeah, we just want to know what you're asking.
And for those of you who just joined, thank you. I can see some of your names pop up, so hi everyone. And keep those questions coming if you've got them. I think we already have some, so let's see. We've got,
Tiffany has a comment.
yeah, many small businesses need a succession plan so they don't die at their desk. So this is definitely a good option for businesses to consider. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, if I could actually just comment on that, because that really is very close to me as well. So I bought my business in 2018, and my business was a franchise model, Comfort Keepers. They're actually headquartered in Irvine, but I remember I went to franchise training. It was a few days where, again, with the franchise, they give you a business in a box, but they also need to provide you with some training so you understand their systems, their culture, a little bit more than just here's everything you need to know. And I distinctly remember during that point, and this was me and my younger self, them saying, look, you need to come, even though you're starting this business today, you need to have an exit in mind. And that exit can be several years, it could be tens of years, 20 years, but you need to have some type of succession or exit plan, Tiffany. Like you mentioned, thank you for bringing this up. And for me, I did not think about that. I'm like, hey, I'm young, this business is great, I'm just gonna keep on running this business, I'm gonna continue to grow it, make it profitable, and did not ever think of exiting. I mean, I'm just really excited to be here and running this business, but situations
Especially
do
at the beginning of it to have to deal with that.
Yeah. I think most people are so excited they don't think of the end. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, now I would.
Yeah.
But in fact,
no, situations always change. Sometimes they're out of your control. Perhaps it could be something in the economy that's affecting the business that you were not well prepared for. For example, if you don't bring the working capital, by working capital, what I mean is the funds that you need to have in your business to support your daily operations. You have money obviously coming in from hopefully the business or service that you sell, but you also have expenses, whether it's certain raw materials or the people that you work with that you need to pay, your rent. Running a business is not cheap, so you want to make sure you're well capitalized. You have enough money to sustain your business in the good times and the bad. So say, for example, your business slows down, you still have to pay the same rent, you probably have to pay the same employees, maybe there's some variability there, but you need to have that working capital to sustain their business so you don't just shut down and then restart back up once business picks back up. So
need a budget.
Yep, you definitely
you
need a budget.
And some businesses have certain quarters that that's their money making time.
Yeah.
So you have to allow for the other times when you're not.
I mean, great. Right now, you have Halloween coming up.
Right.
You've got your other holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving.
So those kinds of businesses are definitely...
Yeah. I mean, spirit of Halloween, that's just the first prime example that comes to mind, being very topical right now. I mean, they work Halloween, that's the name of their business.
Right.
They've got a very interesting business model in the sense that they're able to control a lot of their overhead costs. Basically what they do, most people probably have figured out now, is that they go and they rent out old buildings. For example, a Bed Bath & Beyond, or Rite Aid that goes out of business. All these stores where they're just sitting vacant.
Right.
So a landlord is obviously incentivized to rent it to them to get some type of income, and they're able to hopefully get a more favorable rate. But their business model was, I think, primarily in Halloween. I don't know if they have any other brands that they work with, but for the spirit of Halloween, that brand does obviously exclusively in October. That's their bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching some woman was doing that as event space for, because these places are staying empty.
Yeah.
I always wonder what they do the rest of the
model.
year. There's 11 months left, and maybe they make enough in 1 month to where it's worth it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there's a big scale. They're everywhere. When it comes to Halloween, they just pop right up everywhere.
Good questions, Vicky. Vicky's asking, do you charge the buyer or seller a percentage, or how do you get paid?
Yeah, great question, Vicky. So we work on a pure success fee-based model. It doesn't make sense for us, and by that I mean with the seller. So it doesn't make sense for me to go to a business owner who wants to sell their business and saying, okay, I'm going to take cash out of your business to make your business look less profitable to then sell. That's a losers proposition. What we do instead is we work purely on a success fee-based model. Typically, it's a 12% standard success fee, but it is variable. It's a Lehman scale, so as your valuation increases, the success fee percentage will decrease. But we do that because our interests are very well aligned. We want to make sure for our sellers, we get them the maximum value. And we do that because we're not charging any retainers, any marketing engagements, any other fees. So we really want to make sure we present the business in the best light to get the most value for the seller who's looking to exit.
So I'm in the fashion industry, and there's always all these wonderful stories of, you know, somebody started something in their basement or in their bathroom or whatever, and then some big name brand came and said, I want to make an offer.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So did they then, when something like that happens, is that something that they would go to a broker like yourself?
Yeah.
Or would they just kind of try to get like a legal involved and just draw up some papers and do it that way?
Yeah, good question. I mean, obviously, if you're going the second round and doing it on your own, you'll definitely save a lot of expenses for you because you don't have to pay for another broker intermediary to do that for you. But it's something that we actually advise against for business sellers, because what happens then is you're working on selling the business and you're working on operating the business.
Yeah.
You're just setting yourself up for failure. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. But I actually just got off a call with somebody who tried to do that. And he says, I think when I was going through this before, I think I got a PhD in mergers and acquisitions. Not everybody wants a PhD in mergers and acquisitions, so it's a very difficult process to sell yourself. It's also very valuable to have somebody who is an intermediary to negotiate that for you.
Exactly.
I mean, one is to go through the due diligence and really quarterback all the moving pieces involved, but the other is being able to negotiate on behalf of you for selling this business who does not have an emotional stake, because emotions can get high. Say you're expecting this number, but they come in with this number. If you're doing it yourself, you might get very offended and say, you know, the deal's done. Versus somebody like myself who is not emotionally invested in this brand, in this business, could come with more of a third-party perspective and say, okay, how do we work together? What type of structure would make sense, both on the seller side and the buyer side, where we could continue moving this forward?
Do you sometimes have to just tell the seller, hey, it's not viable?
Yeah, I have actually. There was one business in downtown Los Angeles. It was a juice bar. It was just in a very difficult situation right now. They're very, very razor-thin margins right now. They've been operating it for a few years. It's declined a little bit, and so the value of their business just isn't there. I kind of have to look at, okay, if somebody were to come in to buy this business, what are they buying? This business is not profitable. There's not really a clear path forward. So could a buyer just go ahead and do this themselves without having to pay you, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, up front? I mean, some businesses are purely just liquidation. They literally just sell the assets in the business. Those are businesses that are usually on the decline, where somebody will want to purchase the furniture, the fixtures, perhaps your book of business. But what we really aspire to get is the businesses that have a great reputation, that are growing in their community, and that really provides a value add for
much easier sell.
Yeah, absolutely.
How valuable is inventory?
It depends on the business, right?
Yeah, so the inventory is only as valuable as the value it is to sell. If it's obsolete, old inventory that cannot be sold, then the value of that inventory, it decreases a lot. So what we've seen a lot of people do mistakenly is owners will go into an inventory heavy business, and with inventory, I'm sure you might have seen that with your jewelry business, is the larger scale you buy, the cheaper price per quantity will be. And so business owners may go and they may buy a larger quantity than what is actually necessary, and over time that inventory, because they can't sell through it quickly enough, that inventory will become obsolete. So it could be inventory meaning food inventory, so food just goes to waste. It could mean
or like gems.
Gems that just
anything.
That deteriorate over time, or perhaps some technology that you purchased, which over time maybe somebody bought a bunch of VHS players. That VHS players are not as valuable today as they were in the past.
The POS system, or cash register, it could be 20 years old and it's not going to help you.
Exactly.
So, Vicky's asking, what attracted you to this line of work?
So I bought my first in-home senior care agency in 2018. I love the process of going through it, actually even more than having the business myself. I just really enjoyed having the conversations. My background, I'm a finance guy, a business guy. I got my MBA, so I'm very business oriented. So I love learning about different businesses, understanding their stories. That's what I really loved when I purchased my business. I really enjoyed learning about different industries. It's kind of where I was geeking out. And then when I was selling my business, I really enjoyed, again, talking with people who were interested in my business, kind of packaging my business, putting a bow on top of it and presenting it and saying, here's what my business is, here are the opportunities. And so really enjoyed that. Every single day is very, very different for me. I've spoken with tons of people, again, like I mentioned. I'm talking with a pickleball court owner one day. I'm talking with a leading fitness franchise the other day in Hawaii. I spoke with I'm kind of in the pickleball space. I've kind of materialized quite a few contacts. One contact who developed a technology for pickleball paddles, which I thought was very neat. So there's so many different ways. Every business is so unique. That's really what kind of attracted me and why I really love what I do.
So when you go into a business that wants to sell, you then first probably look at all their books and do an evaluation of what the business might be worth.
Yeah.
And then you go from there.
Yeah, exactly. I try to get in as much knowledge as I can before I go to the business, because obviously I know the business name, the industry.
Right, so you can look them up.
Yeah, I try to do some research to understand what do these businesses, what do they usually value at. It's similar to real estate. When you look at real estate, you want to sell this house, well, you're going to look at other houses that sold in that same neighborhood, maybe within a certain 5-mile radius, that has similar bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and kind of compare. That'll kind of give you a good kind of benchmark on what this business can potentially be worth.
So do you have like a list of buyers and sellers, right, in order to match it up, right? Are you working with other brokers are you just seller, or are you buyer and seller?
Yeah, so you have to do both.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Tinder thing, is you need to have two people to make that relationship happen. We work primarily on the sell side, just because it's a little bit an easier path forward to find a business where the owner wants to sell their business, and then find a buyer who's like, oh, okay, I found this business, that's what I'm interested in, because there's so many online resources. We go to strategic groups, private equity investors, who we know, like, okay, you guys invest heavily in this space. Is this an opportunity that's of interest to you? Working on the other side, on the buyer side, and I was in these shoes when I bought my first business. That was in 2018, so the market was a little bit different back then. But what we see a lot of with business buyers is that they come to myself, to the brokers, and they say, hey, I want to buy a business. Full stop, that's the end of the sentence. And when you try to peel the onion and understand, well, what does that mean for you?
Do they tell you like what kind of business they want to buy?
Great question. So the answer to the question of, well, what type of business is profitable, cash flowing business, is that many people, they don't come in with a research of understanding, well, what type of business do they want to buy, to your point.
Like they don't come and say, I want to buy a restaurant?
Nothing specific? They just, I want a business.
Yeah, and I completely understand. I was in those shoes in 2018. Like I mentioned, I looked at a bounce house manufacturer, a flower shop, oil change station. I had no idea what I was doing, but what is very valuable is for a buyer to do some research. You can go online, understand these industries, the ins and outs, the difficulties, what challenges, what might work for you.
percentages of success.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the easiest path forward for a business entrepreneur is to get into a business that they're familiar with. So, say you're an accountant, maybe it makes sense for you to buy an accounting firm.
Right.
Say you've been a restaurant, you've been working as a GM at a restaurant. Perhaps it might make more sense for you to buy a restaurant, since that's a field that you're comfortable and passionate in. That's not to say you can't pivot into an adjacent field. It's more of a challenge. Going the franchise route may provide more support for you. For example, for me, I come from a finance, numbers, black and white background. I went into in-home senior care, complete 180, but it was a franchise model. It had been around for 30 some years at that point. They had a lot of locations. They had a proven system. I had done research into the industry to understand what is this industry, what is the potential, what are the hurdles, and where do I see myself here? Where I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable with what I'm provided with this business in a box, where I know that I can take this business over.
So I know you guys are all watching. I got a lot more questions here. I'm going to read them. But thank you again for watching with us today. And this is Max, and he's telling us about mergers and acquisitions in not so many words. And he is working with Transworld Business Advisors. So that's what I'm giving you a little brief synopsis of what we've learned so far. I think we answered this question, but I'll go to it anyway. Do you get a percentage of the business sale similar to a realtor? Yes. What did you say, 12%?
Yeah, so we, again, work on success fee. It's a Lehman structure, so it starts at 12%. As your business value increases, that percentage decreases, and that's charged to the seller. So the buyer is not paying any percentage there. They're purely paying for the business itself.
To get the business. So
Right.
Christine asked a good question.
That is a good question. Thank you for asking. And have another one. As a seller of a small business, should you be prepared to work for a defined term for the potential buyer of your company?
Yeah, great question. So we've seen kind of two different avenues. The first, which is I'd say more common, where a business buyer will come in, they purchase the business, we go through the acquisition, now we're in the transition period. That transition period depends upon the business. Typically I would say a few weeks, 2 weeks, for the buyer to remain. They're working kind of side by side with the new business owner for 30 to 40 hours is pretty typical. There might be consulting engagements afterwards that are negotiated outside the scope of the actual purchase agreement. And very rarely, I would say that they want a business owner to just be gone completely, beginning with day one. But there are, again, situations where they want the business owner to stay on board for a longer period of time, even some years. And again, it's a negotiation if the...
A lot happens like that in the fashion industry, where especially if you're like a designer and then they want you to stay on so that the continuity of the brand stays. So you may not be, the owner anymore, but you're now an employee of the new owner. So
that's tough also sometimes for owners to swallow.
So you gotta be prepared for that.
So,
but that's a great question. Thank you for that.
Christine asked a good question, Ralph.
Okay, let me read it out
It
loud.
seems businesses don't stay in business as long. Restaurants, retail stores used to be around forever. Are you seeing a shift of more businesses closing? Great question.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of restaurants, retail establishments closing up. Unfortunately, with those, when they close up, they're usually already on the decline, so there's not much value there. So we're seeing more push towards like service-based business. I mean, restaurants are service, but
It's also hard if you're a restaurant and you work for your franchisee. The company's involved as well, so you can't just step in and sell their business.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Another question is, are there any particular industries I should look at to invest in that you see a great amount of growth potential?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Thank you.
great question. If you're interested in going to Hawaii, I've got a great growing fitness brand and a franchise fitness brand. In terms of business, everyone always asks me, it's like, it's always like asking your neighbor who's a financial advisor, what's the next hottest financial stock ticker? It really depends from person to person. Really, you want to make sure you get into a business that works for you. You don't want to get into a business for the wrong reasons because, okay, this is the hottest business. Let's say right now, tech is huge.
Right.
But are you...
I was just going to say AI maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you going to get into that space? Because that space is, I mean, tech AI is super competitive. It takes a lot of capital to get in there.
It's growing rapidly.
Yeah.
You might
But
be
also,
better
plus you gotta have a good understanding of it, right? And if you're not, what we were talking about earlier about, you know, buying something that you're familiar with, like if you're good with numbers and you've been working at an accounting firm, you might want to buy an accounting firm, you know?
Exactly.
So I think, you know, those are things you have to look at for your success in owning that business, whether you can handle all that or not. I mean, I certainly wouldn't be able to buy a tech company.
Yeah. Definitely not for the faint of heart.
No, because I don't really know it, you know, but if it was something else that was relating to what I like, then, you know, it would be different. But those are really good questions. Keep them coming, guys. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Any questions we don't get today, you can put them on later, and we'll get to it after.
Absolutely. You know where to find me. Online.
We got a lot of good people watching here. That's great. Thank you guys for contributing to our wonderful little thing here that we do. Let's see. Are you still bullish on the home healthcare industry?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Very, very bullish actually. So why I got into home care is because in 2018, I looked at the statistics. I looked at the industry reports. There's 10,000 seniors turning age 65 every single day in the United States. That number is not decreasing. I mean, you look at the number of baby boomers, they're not getting any younger.
No.
They can only age, and as they age, they will need help. Healthcare is definitely, home care especially, is a resource that can help them, and AI will not be able to take that over. Amazon, Google will not be able to disrupt that. So you need to have that human interaction, that healthcare isn't so important. I do see a big change in the market. In 2018, when I started in the business, it was very much private pay because labor costs have gone up so much, and there's been a lot of regulation and legislation for Medicare and Medicaid. Those insurance bodies are now realizing that, okay, maybe home care is something that we need to start covering. The reason being, they figure out if we pay for someone to get home care at home and have somebody take care of them and watch over them, that reduces their chance of this senior citizen having to end up in the hospital with much larger bills. So that's why now insurance agencies are covering more health care, even though they're non-medical. So I am still very bullish in health care. Again, seniors are not getting any younger. I've actually reached out.
And robots aren't going to come and take care of them.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe there will be some robots that are able to do some things, but I think people will always be reaching for the human compassion interaction.
You got to find a business that's not going to go away.
Yeah.
A field that's going to be around forever, and medical is definitely one of them.
Yeah, and in home care in particular, I mean, me being in the industry, I've reached out to a lot of other home care agencies, just kind of learn their business, seeing if they're potentially looking to exit. And many people understand what they have. They don't want to exit because they see the growth potential with this business.
Right, of course.
So yeah, if you're in the right mindset, I'm still very bullish on kind of the healthcare field.
Wow. Well, those are all great points. What else do you want people to know? How do they contact you? Do you have a website? Do you have an email address? Do you want to say?
Yeah. So you can find me on transworld.com, but also if you found my post through Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, my email's on there. It's Snitkovsky@tworld.com. I won't try to spell that because it's much too long, but
it'll be on the site.
Yeah. I also have an Instagram handle.
What is it called? Max, it's your name?
Yeah, it's my name. M. Snitkovsky at Tworld.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that'll come up. And then I'm also working on my Instagram handle, DealmakerMax. Unfortunately, Instagram has not been too friendly for me, so I've had to recreate my entire handle, but an easy way to remember me, Dealmaker Max, one word on Instagram.
That works.
I love connecting.
I like that.
Yeah. I love connecting with people. I've connected with so many people, like through other networking groups. I've connected with them and they say, oh, you should talk to my friend so-and-so. Just yesterday, I spoke with somebody for about an hour who was looking to get into the assisted living space. It's a space that's adjacent to what I was doing before, but I spoke to him at length, just kind of sharing my story, learning more about him, providing him that guidance of where to go. So even when I don't benefit financially from anything, I really enjoy connecting with people in entrepreneurial spaces. It's really great learning about their stories and seeing how I can help them grow maybe.
And that's, that's what Culver City Biz is all about. Like
we're here.
Yeah, we have those entrepreneurs that are there. We have those little small businesses, the micro businesses that have the potential to grow into something that can be something that can be sold, later on. So I think that's great that you're helping these smaller businesses.
Absolutely.
What's the largest business that you have sold?
The largest business that I have sold, so I haven't sold too many of them. I mean, the largest business was probably my business, but I am working on one deal right now. It's a $15 million deal. It's in the cryotherapy fitness manufacturing space.
Wow.
They have an entity in the US, Ukraine, Poland. Again, that's very, niche market. It's a market that I would not get into because I don't understand cryotherapy manufacturing at all. And there's probably very few buyers out there. So for that particular, that's what we call as more of a bigger strategic purchase. Mm-hmm. So probably somebody who is in that space already, perhaps in the fitness space. Maybe they're looking to bolt on a cryotherapy component into their business. That might be a good fit. For me, that obviously would not be a good fit.
Yeah, that's really specific. And
I would say so. Yeah.
And it's probably like looking for a needle in a haystack, right?
Exactly. And the more specific a business is, if it's in like that strategic buyer set, and the larger the deal is, the longer it takes to sell that business. Mm-hmm. Obviously, because you have to find that needle in the haystack, and there's very few of them as you get more specific, and especially when there's more technology involved. But as the price of a business goes up, the pool of buyers tends to shrink down. Mm-hmm. I certainly cannot afford $15 million, and it's probably very challenging for most as well. So finding people who can afford that.
Is it a fair evaluation?
It's a little bit ambitious because it's really made for a strategic buyer, and that strategic buyer is going to really value what the previous owner has built this business. Yeah. So is it worth $15 million today? Maybe yes, maybe no. But for the right strategic buyer who understands the value that is brought with this business and everything that was built with all the intellectual property and the patents, the technology, they will really value this business.
It has to be seamless in that case. So.
Okay. Do you have like a newspaper, a newsletter, or a website that you list all the businesses at, where buyers can go and look at businesses that are up for sale?
Yeah, the biggest source, similar to like the MLS for real estate, the MLS equivalent for businesses would be Biz Buy Sell.
Biz Buy Sell.
Yeah, Biz with a Z, B-I-Z, Buy Sell. It's the website I used back in 2018. I'd say they're like the #1 repository of all listings.
Okay.
So the challenge that you'll find with Biz Buy Sell is most of the businesses that do end up there are usually the leftovers. Okay. Most businesses that are really hot, they may not even get into Biz Buy Sell, just because there's so many people who want to find a great business, who establish those relationships with myself, with other business brokers, where a business comes on our desk and they're kind of the first people that we know might be a good fit. Now, once we kind of go through our first round in our Rolodex, and at that point we don't find someone who is a good fit, that's when you'll see the business on Biz Buy Sell.
You're too young to know what a Rolodex is.
Yeah, I was going to say, nobody knows what that is.
I'm not that young.
That's all right.
I'm kidding. I I was shocked that that came out of your mouth.
I was going to just let it go. But,
I also used the VHS player back in the day.
you mentioned
Do you
that
know what
earlier,
an
too.
8-track is?
I've heard of these things.
He's 75 years old. He just
Yes.
doesn't look it.
Well, that's why I got into the senior care market before.
That's right. You found a great business.
I was going to ask, is there a business that is more popular to sell, like a laundromat or something?
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I'd say easy businesses like laundromats are very popular. Restaurants are popular just in the sense that there's a large volume of them. I'd say those are probably the most popular ones that I've seen. I try not to focus in those areas because I want to focus more on kind of specialized businesses that really have great potential. But hair salons also, nail salons,
okay.
Massage parlors, kind of what you see on your main streets. You go to the main drag. I've worked with a couple of like juice bar franchises. We see a lot of gyms. So things that people can relate to, because we oftentimes see people get into a business because they see it obviously all the time, and they realize, okay, eventually they come to a point where they can't run it anymore. It's kind of beyond their ability, and that's when they're looking to exit.
But it's also a business that is frequented on a daily basis.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, exactly.
So maybe they're thinking that it's going to be profitable,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Wow.
All
A lot
right.
of things to learn.
Yeah, there's a lot to digest.
A
right
lot of
now,
things
so.
to learn. Is there some things you want to tell everybody that's watching in a summary of what we've talked about, as far as like what you do?
Yeah, I mean, what I do is I help business owners, again, looking to exit their business. I would say my advice for any business owner is to always keep the exit in mind. Whether it's today, tomorrow, or in a couple of years, you always want to know what you're working towards. You never know when your situation will change. That kind of pushes you into a situation where you have to exit your business, but you should have that in the back of your mind. So when that time comes, you know you can handle it with tact. You're able to go through that process unemotional, and you're able to get to that next stage of your life.
You know, I, as a business owner, never actually verbalized what you just said, but I feel like I lived it though, like always thinking about selling, you know, so that's very interesting that you say it like that. Maybe because of my industry, the acquisitions happen a lot more, you know, so maybe that's why, I don't know, but it was always in the back of my mind, so it's very interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as easy as that. You do definitely have to find someone like you to help, you know, to do that.
It's a process.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times the emotion gets in the way, and it's really hard to do it on your own.
Yeah,
All right. Well, great job here.
So we'll put Max's information. He is tagged on the live here, but we will put his website and his information here. For those of you who are in the Culver City Biz Group that do own businesses and stuff, he comes to our meetings, and you can always approach him and talk to him about your business. Do you offer like strategies as to maybe like if I was not ready to sell, but maybe would be ready in about 3 to 5 years, would you offer them strategy to get to that point as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way I work is, again, I love talking to entrepreneurs. I'll speak with anybody and everybody to help them, give them perspective on their business. I recommend everybody to get a valuation on their business at least once every few years, so you understand what your business is worth. If it's worth X today, but you're looking to get Y or Z for it, now you know, like, okay, I need to work on these particular aspects to get there. So I usually don't get involved on the strategy for more long term. We do have a sister company at Transworld called Exit Factor.
Okay.
They're the ones that are going to actually look at, okay, here are your operations, here's what you need to work towards, and kind of be your consultant in getting you there. But that valuation, I think, is really the first step. We actually provide a completely free valuation. It's no cost or commitment. We just ask for a couple years of tax returns, your P&L and your balance sheet.
Right.
We can work with you on getting that information ready.
Mm-hmm.
And really within a few days, we can actually come back to you and say, here's what I think what your business is worth. And at that point, you kind of just figure out as a business owner, is this something that I'm happy parting ways with? Or is this something that I want to continue working in the business to improve that valuation and have a larger exit in some time?
And we did do a panel discussion at our last in-person event on last Thursday. And we did have a person talking about the financial end of all of this and how important it is to get all that financial stuff to always be in order, especially like your P&L, so that you can give it to someone like Max and help you evaluate your business. Thank you everyone for watching. We really appreciate it. And again, we will tag Max onto this and put his web address and all that information. And for our next in-person event, it's going to be on November 6th. It will be at 4:30 p.m. at By Your Side Dance Studio. Now, there's 2 locations for them. We're going to be at the one in the marina at 2929 Washington Boulevard. And it's their bigger location, and it's supposed to be really nice. She's going to have food and drinks, and she's even going to have dance lessons. So if you want some little lessons to get you through a little line dancing or whatever, I don't know. I know they teach swing, and they do West Coast swing and East Coast swing.
I believe there's different swings.
We interviewed her a while back, and then they also do the salsa dancing, which a lot of our friends take it there. So come check it out.
It should be a lot of fun.
It should be a lot of fun. So there'll be music and dancing and food and drinks. What can be wrong with that, right? Thank you everyone for watching. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys next Friday.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you.